Let's go. It's time to stream. All right. Do we try the black banner today? First. Yo, what's up, F1? Oh, dude, doesn't that just feel better? It's all right. Hold on. We're going back. We're going back. I know I can just call you F1 now. Oh, man, the stress you have relieved from me, my friend. How was your Friday evening? We're going to talk about the markets here in a little bit. If you haven't already, the MotoGP sprint race happened this morning. Go watch the highlights. It was good. They put out a 4-minute, 19-second highlight video. All right. Let's look at what the markets did. So we already know. Yeah, markets were down a little bit. Relatively flat on Friday. But what's fun to look at are the movers. Because this only happens in America. Sedara Therapeutics changed. Their price went up 105%. That is insane. And what's also crazy is it's not a low share price. It went up $111. Almost 112. The other ones are fun, right? Caesarian was up 51%, but it changed $2. Creative Media, $2. All right, Key Day. Ask a question. Let's go. I wanna ask a question. Sometimes we sing on the channel. It's what we do. It's what we do. There we go. What do you want to ask, Key-Day? Go ahead and ask, brother. I am ready and listening. All right. So the other fun thing, they only do this for U.S. stocks, which I guess is fine. But it publishes, or it puts out stocks that are at their 52-week high, which is fun. Do you love your followers? I love everybody, you know what I mean? So yeah, of course. I love people who are not following. I hope to help a lot of them as well. But the 52-week high is fun. But what's really fun is they publish things at their 52-week lows. So I don't know these companies. Hang on 1 second. What happened here? I gotta turn these down 1 second. Okay. But one of these, like Motorola, it's at 382. It's a 52-week low. How much lower is it gonna go? NASDAQ, it does the same things. I don't know a lot of these. Charter Communications. Is that a 52-week low? Interesting. But it doesn't publish that sort of information for the European markets, and I don't understand why. European markets were down Friday. Actually, I had some big gainers and some big losers. And Bitcoin is down to 96. Oh, it was down at 94 almost. Interesting. We did a market recap on the Patreon this morning. And a community Q&A. Why do you ask, Key? Oh man. Basil Coup, you're not a real person, are you? right, give me one sec here. Ooh, pancakes or waffles? I'm a pancake guy for sure. My wife likes a good waffle, but I'm a pancake guy for sure. Man, I'm so basic. It's pepperoni for me. I just like a basic pepperoni pizza. Depending on the place, sometimes a little extra sauce, sometimes a little extra cheese, but not extra pepperoni, believe it or not. Wrong. The correct answer for it to be topped by additional smaller pizzas. I like the way you think. Did you like those Totino's party pizza? I think they were like little bagels, little bagel pizzas. I love pizza. What do you want to know about them, Emily? I'm not going to help you pass the 7 if that's the kind of answer you want. Come on, Emily. Hit me. But to give you some background, I'm a free financial advisor. I'm a certified financial planner professional. I worked at Vanguard for over 13 years, and my goal is to help millions of people achieve financial literacy. You think it's an error having your banner? It's the camera won't do it. I'd have to either I can't sit higher. My chair doesn't go higher. Change the angle there. Is that better? Boom. Is that better? What are your thoughts options trading as a side hobby if you already have a Roth IRA and no debt? It's a great question, Joshua. It's a deep question. I don't know if you're ready for the answers. So, if it's a side hobby, you're going to look at it differently than investing. Because if it's for a hobby, you budget for it. And if you spend all your money, meaning it goes to zero, it doesn't hurt you. But if your hobby ends up making you money, awesome. But your chances of making money and more than what the market gives you is low. I don't purposely not do it. So my gaming or my setup is for gaming. Anyway, that's irrelevant. So there are other things you can also be building, Joshua. But most people lose with options trading. Most people lose. And that's not necessarily lose money or have your money go down, but you don't keep up with the market. So you got to ask yourself, why do you want to spend that time doing options trading when you could be doing anything else? Unless you plan to make money. But now we're back in a circle. What other questions you got, Joshua? I love dividend investing because less painful feeling way for me for time to escape you. Okay. So I actually don't. My main issue with dividend investing is the tax implications if you're also working, right? I totally get the strategy and understand why somebody would want to build a dividend portfolio. I totally get that. But the tax implications while you're working are drastic. What are some other ways to invest along with a Roth IRA to make money? You can just, in the same way that you're thinking about trading options, you can. Hey, what's up, Simon? Hey, you're. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I think you're in the Patreon, but you can have taxable account in your name. It doesn't just have to be a Roth. There are multiple things you can invest in. Multiple accounts. I have it in a small Roth. I have dividend. Okay. Well, are you worried about the dividend stocks not keeping up with the growth of other types of stocks? So, Joshua, you want to have all three buckets if you can. Some pre-tax, some post-tax, some taxable. I want to ask a question for a while. Glad I came on. Yeah, let's go, Simon. So then when you have all three accounts, Joshua, we don't know what tax codes are going to be. But if you have all three account types, you can withdraw from your assets in a tax efficient manner. I live in Orange County where housing is quite expensive. Oof, yes. When I go around gross 200, is it okay to simply rent for the rest of our lives and just invest into our retirement accounts? So this is personal preference, Simon. This is a really, really good question. Hey, what's up, big homie? This is a really good question, Simon. The reason people should buy a home is because they want the stability, the same place to go home to forever. They know it's theirs and all that sort of stuff. There are people in this world who rent forever. You know what I mean? Hey, I appreciate it, F1. So you can absolutely do that, Simon. But the one thing about buying a home as well is you lock in a lot of your housing cost, right? The actual payment is lower. So there are some people who don't want to be tied down to a piece of real estate, right? They would just want freedom. So it all depends on what you want. There are benefits to both. I do think home ownership is a larger benefit because you may end up locking in your costs, which may increase the amount you're able to invest over time. So, you just need to factor those things in, that's all. Yeah. That could absolutely be true, Simon. That could absolutely be true. We could stop all retirement contributions and save 5 to 6 years for it. Interesting. How old are you, Simon? Because the other thing you could ask yourself, but I just feel like the cash sitting inside would be a waste considering the opportunity cost. Well, not okay. So what it sort of sounds like is, right, you want as much as you can. But this is where having like a specific goal. This is where having like a specific goal for retirement, like you need 3.5 million. That is important because what if you only need 3.5 million, but you're on your way to 6 million? Sounds like a good problem to have, but it stops you from doing other things in your life. Like, I know 3 million, you're always going to be like, hey, 3 million is going to be what I would always take. But what about the peace of mind that you would get for however long by owning? Anyway, my Roth is 45K, projected to have more than 2K dividends in next year, half dividend, half tech. Okay. Interesting strategy. You got to have peace of mind. Although marriage is quite a long ways away, what money advice do you have going into one? Joint accounts, prenups? This is going to be a hot take and a bad take, but I consider my wife my partner. Everything I am doing in life is because of her. If something were to happen to us, she should get half of everything. I don't know how to word that. But if you care about that stuff, yeah, of course, a prenup can be a good thing. I personally like joint accounts. That's what me and my wife have, just a bunch of joint accounts. So I know it's personal preference, but the different accounts, different bills, different spending money is weird to me because in no way is it your individual money. It's really weird. I did consider that, but I feel like doing both. Investing and saving for a down payment makes saving that 300K almost impossible. You are correct, Simon. That it makes it significantly more difficult. Which is why I mentioned stopping all retirement contribution. Yes, I totally understand. So it's more about the trade-off. And that's where if you are on pace already, and you can take that chill, 5-6 years, Your portfolio is still likely going to grow over that time. If there's ever a market correction or a downturn, you can always take some of your cash if you want and do catch ups. If I'm not really saying to do that, right? But it is a positive. Maybe even what if you're on this huge cash saving trip and we see a gigantic market drop? Now you're sitting on all this cash. Anyway, that's another thing to think of. But the money for the down payment, you know what it's going to do for you. Right? Like you know the peace of mind of having a home will give you locked in costs, not locked in, but feel the same way. Me and my wife got married with nothing, so she should have half if something went sideways. Yeah. I think I don't know. I look at my marriage with my wife as, I don't know how to describe it. She's my person. You know what I mean? She's my number one, always. So I did not go into the marriage with nothing, but I still pretty much made a active decision to share in. Wait, did I say cash saving thrice? All right, so Simon, all right, want to circle back to the house now, right? The house is going to give you peace of mind, locked in payments, things like that, whereas rent doesn't provide you that kind of security. I see some videos online mentioning how all these costs associated with home ownership can make it not as worth it as you would think. Yes, that is absolutely true. That's why, to give you a good example, Simon, if you are, let's just say you qualified for a $700,000 house, that's what they say you could afford. I would say you should go down to like 550 or 500 so that you could really afford it, because owning a home absolutely has more costs than people realize. And there is something beautiful about rent, but there's something with the security of owning a home. What is that worth to you? Right? Rent not going up, not potentially being kicked out, not potential ownership change, stuff like that. No, just that it's hard to say cash shaving if you say it fast. If you were going to be gifted 100K of dividend, ETF, or stock, which you had to hold for at least 1 year, what would you want it to be? Of a dividend stock? For 1 year? Or ETF? I don't know. If it's just for 1 year, I'm probably going to be super aggressive and go for whatever's paying the most. Go for broke if it's just a 1 year plan. Six, seven is right. The houses here would be at minimum starting around 800K. All right. So if you get qualified for $1 million, although at 200,000 you would probably be qualified for about 800,000. But if you got qualified for $1 million, you should do 800,000, if that makes more sense. So it is a tough predicament, Simon. But like, what was your rent 5 years ago? What is it today? What will it be 5 years from now? What will it be 10 years from now? You know what I mean? I never have Vegas weekends. My wife has access to everything. I have not eaten yet today, affiliated. Death row meal? No. I'll probably eat T-bones tonight. I should actually probably take those out of the fridge now. But we'll probably have T-bones tonight. Wait, that's probably what would my death row meal be? My death row meal: Kraft mac and cheese. I know that sounds crazy. An epic porterhouse, a Coca-Cola with unlimited Coca-Cola, but that is so cold that it's starting to ice fleck. It's starting to ice over. A pear, a Bartlett pear, and maybe a hot dog. If I get to pick a dessert on top of that, it's Joe's Italian Ice. What's your height? In some of your videos, you seem a little short, or rather not as tall as I thought you'd be. Wait, let me ask, how tall do you think I am? Okay, yeah. How tall do you think I am, F1? This is a great question, Simon. So the answer is yes and no. You're not going to factor it into your net worth. Unless you want to talk about the cash value of the pension if you were to cash it out or something like that. But otherwise, I wouldn't factor it into your net worth, but you should absolutely factor it into your retirement. But you do need to think about how safe is your pension and all that sort of stuff. Right, like in a hypothetical world, if your pension covers all of your bills, you don't need a nest egg at all. You know what I mean? Hey, I am 5'10". I am 5'10". See, I've never liked alternative mac and cheese. I've always liked Kraft mac and cheese because I'm a Neanderthal. My taste buds are a Neanderthal. 5'12". It's crazy, bro. So, Simon, but, okay, so the scary thing, though, is if you are planning on that income, so you decide not to get a nest egg or a lesser nest egg, and then that pension can no longer pay out, what then? So what a lot of people do for something like, say, like Social Security is they still plan for retirement without the pension, but that means you're probably going to save too much, so it's a tightrope you're walking, you know? I think I'm average or slightly above average. Just trying to get an idea of how much I should have in retirement for my investing accounts. Uh, all right. So let's not factor it in. What you have to figure out is what are your expenses going to be in retirement? And use it in today's dollars. Right? You should wear your beard up to look taller. What, like around my ears? Okay, so let's just say you guys spend $100,000 in today's dollars. When you retire, it's going to be $150,000 in those dollars. You're going to have $100,000 from pension. We can do it both ways. Let's do it with the pension. You're going to have $100,000 in a pension, so you need to be able to pull $50,000 per year without having to worry about your portfolio ending before you reach death. Sorry, that was a really weird way to explain that. So if that's the case, you know, if you need 50,000 a year, it would be like 1.25 million, and you could pull out 50,000 per year, and likely be safe for the rest of your life. Now, if you don't do that, if you need all 150,000 to come from your portfolio and you're retiring at a normal age, whoops, you need closer to $4 million, right? So it's like, let's just call it 1.5 and 4 million. It's a huge difference, right? So you have to think about, what does that mean for you, right? So that's a pretty wide range. That just means you have to have confidence, right? So we're talking 1.5 to 4 million. That's a fairly large range depending on what your pension does for you. And only about 2% of people retire over $1 million. We're going to change that, SDA. We are going to change that. How do I get thicker in the wrist? I have no idea. Probably grip strength. Seems like I'm investing more than I should be. It's definitely possible, Simon. It's definitely possible. Because if you've been aggressive on this, you might be on pace again for like 6 million. Well, what's the purpose? Like, cool, you can leave it to your kids and stuff, but ultimately, what's the purpose of having more money than you need? Anyway, I want to do fire, retire early in my 40s, currently mid 20s, high salary, low savings, already burnt out. Yeah, you got to get the high salary, high savings, F1. Save everything. Get your expenses as low as possible and save everything. So, hey, what's up, Way Out? So the calculations, Simon, if I were to do them, I like doing 7. That's what I prefer. Just because it's a little more. Hey, thanks for the likes. It actually means a lot for the algorithm. I appreciate that. Um, but I say 7, even though I know it's likely to be more. Way out, way out. Way out, I don't know if you know, but I was on hiatus for almost 3 months, and we are back. We are back. Oh man, you fired an artist this morning? I was also AFK while you were gone. Oh, very interesting. Why'd you have to fire an artist? Hey, I'm happy to help, Simon. Way out of here. Porcupine Tree, sing that, Mr. Bearded Man. He did inappropriate things, so we fired him and ended contract. That is unfortunate. Give me 1 second. All right. I hit you with a like whenever I see you on. What's the most you've gotten in a stream? Ooh, let me check that. Streams are pretty powerful, but that's because I'm in my 20s. Let me see here. Let's go to lives. The most likes a live has gotten 16. 16. Oh man, F1 goes for it. Big homie, you driving today? Yo, what's up, W Dill? I'll do a pull-up. If we get to 20 likes, I'll do a pull-up. Although I don't know really how to check it while it's live without actually pulling up. I am tired, brother. I am tired. I have been burning the midnight oil and waking up with the kids. But we will adjust that. I have to admit, this is my fault. There is a video game called Marvel Rivals, and there was a mode called Zombie Mode. I played too much of it, too late into the night. I will say that we beat Nightmare 4, which is the highest. But other than that, yeah, the gaming took it out. But I got to go back, man. I was there was a stretch there after the baby was born. I was going to bed at like 9 and waking up at 6. I felt like I could do anything. Go to sleep at 11 and wake up at 2. Why are you waking up so early, brother? At some point, that'll catch you. I personally do not have 529s for my kids. We don't know, excuse me, what they'll do, and there are benefits for it, but we invest a different way for our children. Essentially, accounts in our name that are earmarked for them. It's very true, Nightlights. But what about that day? Because it hits all of us. You're rocking and rolling, living this crazy schedule, and then one day you fall asleep at 6 p.m. and you don't wake up until 6 a.m. What happens then? You got to plan for one of those, you know? So the potential rule changes for a 529 that you can convert some of it to a Roth for kids is something. I got to confirm that that's a real rule. But if that is a true thing, I will probably start investing in 529s. If they don't go to school. I recently did that. Dude, those are the best. You feel like, oh no! But they really are the best. Number one, the best. But the glorious nights of deep sleep are the best. I've been informed the 529s don't help with children who inherit some sort of company. You would have to tell me about that because the accounts themselves have the benefits. If you're talking about a negative benefit to something else, that's possible. Like some people don't qualify for federal grants if they have accounts. So how do you transition from saving 40% of your income each year to finally spending? I see what other people buy and I don't want that junk. You do not have to do that, senile. Spend what you want, man. Figure out your basics, get those paid, and then just do what you want to do. I would recommend you research some hobbies or some things, but literally, whatever you want to do that day. You want to take a bus trip to another state just because you can? Stay at a random hotel that you see? Do it. You know what I mean? Just live your life. If you put in the money and you have it, enjoy it. I have been investing $100 a month into both of my kids' 529 since they were born. I like it. That's really smart. Any amount of help is awesome. I own a company. If I were to do that, it could potentially hurt my daughter's future with running my company, at least from what I've been told. I don't know anything about that, Night Lights. I don't know how it would potentially affect it unless net worth matters to whatever you're trying to figure out. But yeah, if there is something, let me know. Give me a name of it. I'd like to know. Potential grants. Yep, heard that one. And I've been told the amount my business is worth would decrease. I don't know how those would be affected, but definitely on the, or not definitely, potentially on the grants. I'm almost positive that is one. I haven't thought of this, but how exactly do you plan for your kids' future when you don't know where they'll end up? Maybe they don't go to school, maybe a gap year, maybe they move in after graduation. Yep. That's why my wife and I have chosen the route that we've chosen. If you are in control of all of your money, you can do whatever you want with it. It also changes, ooh, this is probably too deep, but it could change the way you invest. Because you could be investing long-term money in a certain way that never changes. Yeah, I don't want to get into this actually. Never mind. Don't forget to set your stakes out. That's true, affiliated. I'm going to go do it right now. But yeah, F1, that's why. And SDIA, if you're still here, that's why we save the way we save. If they don't go to school, the 529 just became an issue because of the taxes before, but now they might let you roll a portion of it into a Roth. So, yeah, I don't know. But if the money is yours, you can help them do whatever they do. You know what I mean? Whatever that happens to be. One second. Done. But unfortunately, we don't have steaks. We just have a roast. I have made a gigantic miscalculation. Yo, what's up, Yuli? I checked out some of your shorts. It's amazing how you actually got people to think about the deeper questions in life. Listen, we're just trying to help, man. We're just trying to get out there. Would you recommend investing in passive funds or actively managed funds? I know Dave Ramsey always says actively managed mutual funds with lower turnover. Uh, it's hard to find actively managed funds that win over a 30-year period. So that was always the research at Vanguard, although it became less and less. Actually, the most important part of an actively managed fund is its cost. The low cost is more important. Turnover is important as well for taxes, but an actively managed fund can't necessarily guarantee low turnover because it's actively managed. It has to do things. It doesn't have to, but it's going to do things when it sees fit. You know what I mean? Best kind of fry. Cajun. Cajun fries are the best kind of fries. Like if you go to, I'm not saying these are the best fries, though they are pretty good. Five Guys Cajun fries, those might actually be my top tier fry. If I just want fries, that's what I'm getting. But yeah, Joshua, we're trying to get people to think about things earlier in life. Get your financial house in order earlier in life. Get things going earlier in life. And it's kind of neat. We've had multiple follow-ups from our time out in Old Town. All my artists are like, that you banned him, man. So he was a known troublemaker, huh? Watching process before reveal. Which process, basic? Yeah, I just couldn't. That's tough, man. But now you're free. Some active funds beat market returns by a lot too, but they aren't open to normies like you and me. And hedge funds, prop trade funds, HFT funds. That is true for some, but a lot of those even end up failing meeting the market consistently. Like if we're talking over a 30-year period, but there are some giants out there that may be able to do it. But yeah, commissions and fees eat away a lot. Over a 30-year period, it's incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult. When I was in the military making 11K a year 20 years ago, the onboarding officer begged us to invest something. Ignored him and wonder why even 20 a month would be now. Yeah. It's interesting to think about that. I didn't take my finances seriously until I was pretty close to 27. And even then, probably more like 28, 29 is when I really got serious with my finances. Hey, thanks, Basic. It's a little bit longer. There we go. It's like 13, 14 inches, something like that. But I appreciate that a lot, Basic. Hey, what's up, Rom? I appreciate it, Basic. If everything was going to be taken from me up top, I'm glad I got it sprouting from my face. But even that, my beard makes me look older than I am. I'm only 41. Like, you see some color right here. But the white hair attacked me quick. But I had a red beard, and apparently red goes white early. I don't know. What's your end game with the beard? When do you exit your position? There are two situations I will shave. Well, three, I guess. If I grow to hate my beard, I'll probably chop it, right? If it gets too annoying, I'll probably chop it to like here, which is like the logo. I'd have the logo beard. Or if I actually truly hated it, I'd get rid of it. But really what's likely to happen is either my wife will begin to hate it. If she started to not like it, I'm out. Or when my kids are old enough, I'm not going to do the scary, hey, look, dad looks completely different thing. But when my kids want to see me without my beard, then I'll shave it. I would also do it for $1 million. That's funny. I was 29 when I took it seriously. Now I go all out because I feel like I wasted a decade. As weird as it sounds, Estia, I don't like telling people this. I don't want to make it too known. It's not that your early 20s are useless. It helps. It helps a lot. But the amount of money you save between 18 and 28 is generally minuscule compared to 28 to 38, 38 to 48, 48 to 58. You know what I mean? So, yes, you did miss a decade. But how much are normal people saving then who still make it? She still doesn't hate it. It's a romance killer. It is not. My beard is not a romance killer. I have 4 children to prove it. My wife's going to kill me for that. Yo, what's up, Soft? Yes, sir, Rom. 4 kids, baby. We're likely done now. But you never know. I think if Social Security still exists when I retire, I could potentially live off of it. So the retirement money is just extra. That's how I feel. Get your bills as low as possible for retirement. 5 actually. I'm moving in. No space, no space. I'm so sorry. Rom, it is 1:15 in the afternoon. What's for lunch? I'm not going to eat until dinner. It'll likely be steaks, but I may go chicken wings. I may throw a curveball at everything and go chicken wings. I'm fasting. So I just started today. I'm either going to be eating a very specific diet or fasting. So I did a 7-day fast leading up to, man, that was a long time ago now, almost a month ago, but from like the 12th to the 19th, I did a 7-day fast or something along those lines. And I'm getting back to that. We are cutting during this winter so that we can be ripped for next summer. You know what I mean? But I do like intermittent fasting and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, I've done a 30-day fast before, Rom. I'm not telling anybody to do this. This is just me sharing my experience. I don't think I'll ever do a shirtless stream F1. A 7-day fast does feel so slow. So I've done 26 days, 30 days, multiple 5 to 7 days, multiple single days, 30 days. Like I've done a lot of fasting. I have yet to run into an issue. It's not to say I won't, but I've yet to run into anything like that, Rom. I mean, it was a water fast. This last time I did it with electrolytes. Well, not just this last time, but I've done it with electrolytes the last few times. I don't know, probably the last year I've been fasting. I've done electrolytes, something like that. Could be more, could be less. But yeah, and that's it. How do you start eating after a fast? I've done it every way you can think of, Yuli. Some people will say do like bone broth and something super light. Other people will tell you meat. Other people will tell you veggies or whatever. I've done all of those. I've done pizza. So I've I've done all the things. I'm not saying any of them are right, but I've done all the things. I know you know, but please get some blood work done. Oh yeah, I did do the blood work. Hot wallet in your new video. What is hot wallet? Oh, oh yeah, I definitely don't know the technical ins and out of Bitcoin. I know enough about it and how it should play into people's investment decisions. Crazy to think that some people go their whole lives without ever giving their digestive system a break. Yeah, that is kind of wild, Soft. That is kind of wild. But have you ever noticed when you get sick, you're not really hungry? You have to like force yourself to eat? Unless you're literally starving. I don't know that that's necessary. And the principles about Bitcoin are still there. What are the top prospects for investing right now? I don't think they're one. That's not what I do, Josh. And I think it's hard to know those things. What's that company that's about to explode? I have no idea. But I do know if it's publicly traded, I own it. I wonder if there's anyone around. Wait, so even the people across from me didn't know what it was, and they were Bitcoin guys. And is it really called a hot wallet? That just doesn't sound right. I wonder if there's anyone around who could tell us about Bitcoin. Are you a Bitcoin guy, F1? Is life enjoyable when you don't have to work for money? Will you be mentally stable to not work 9 to 5? I've enjoyed my life tremendously not working a 9 to 5, but I am very much spending most of my time with my wife and kids. Like if I'm not on stream and they're not asleep, I'm with them. And it's awesome. Now, what does that mean 20 years from now when they don't live with us anymore? Oh, yeah. One thing I thought was crazy when I needed to transfer 40K to my bank, it took straight less than an hour to transfer my Bitcoin to my bank. Whoo! I like that. All right, so other than the technical side of Bitcoin, what are your thoughts, Dia, on the principles I tell people with Bitcoin? And it's okay if we disagree, you're not going to hurt my feelings. And yes, tell us what we need to know about Bitcoin. If you're up to it. If you're up to it. So, Ram, I think when you get to that stage in life, though, it's about what you do to fill your time. Right? If you have a schedule in life or a routine, I think that helps. And if you stay physical, that helps. My grandfather was an absolute tank until he was 86 years old when his wife died. When his wife died, he stopped swimming. He stopped doing golf. He was dead 2 years later. He was doing 18 rounds of golf or swimming every day up until his wife died. And when his wife died, he just quit being active, quit having a routine, dead 2 years later. Sad. One sec. There we go. Yeah, retirement can be hard on people. Yeah, agreed. Not having the job for some people it kills like their motivation, their drive to live. They get worked up and going to work every day. They don't even fully enjoy their vacations. They're just looking forward to when they can get home. I agree with that, F1. Why did we get rid of the sabbatical? Why? Imagine a full month off. Hold on. I may have to go here. I know this is going to sound lame, but I'm going to go to an hour and a half just in case. Yeah, I got one of my babies is crying. Giving her a second. Giving her a second here. All right. I'm out of here, guys. I'll be back in a minute. Never mind. I'm going to end now. I'm so sorry.